Okay, now we'll take a look at some sources for background information and experts at the state level, at the California level. And there are three here listed on the research guide: the Legislative Analyst's Office, the Public Policy Institute of California, and the California Research Bureau. We're just going to look at the Legislative Analyst's Office. The Legislative Analyst's Office is a nonpartisan branch of the California legislature, and they have analysts whose job it is to go over any kind of bills, major bills that the legislature is considering, or any major issues, particularly issues that have to do with the budget or that are going to have budgetary effects. And as you can imagine, with COVID, there are very many budget effects. Once you get to the Legislative Analyst's Office, much like CQ Researcher, you can browse by different areas, policy areas. You can search. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to browse, and we're going to come down and see what the legislative analyst is working on right now. So most of these things are pre-COVID. So they're not going to have yet all of the effects of the budget cuts from the pandemic. But we're going to go down here to the prison one, effectively managing state prison infrastructure, just to give you a feel for what kinds of reports are here. The reports will typically have an introduction, an executive summary, and then an overview of the particular issues. And here we have a list of all of the prisons in California, the major drivers of prison infrastructure, how old the prisons are, how much it's going to cost to bring them up to date, how many inmates there are, any number of issues. So if you were doing a story, say, on a new prison that was being considered, or as we have had lately, issues about closing prisons and redistributing the prison population, letting more prisoners out who are nonviolent offenders, this would be a good way to get your head around what the issues are. And they're fairly straightforward. They're not very bureaucratic. But the other thing that's very nice about the Legislative Analyst's Office is that you can also find experts in the particular areas that you're researching. So in this case, Caitlin O'Neill, her program areas are public safety and prison population and sentencing. And she has a master's degree in public policy from Berkeley and a bachelor's from Swarthmore. It gives you her name and her telephone number and her email address. You could also go up here to staff and find all of the analysts. So we have somebody on employment and labor law, CalWorks, air quality, University of California, early education, Medi-Cal, correctional health care, student financial aids, California State University, and community colleges. So there's many experts here and many reports that would be helpful to you in doing your research for your stories and for finding sources to interview.